What's going on, guys? We're live now. Tonight, got Antoine Martel on. He's going to hop on, just kind of talk about what's been going on in the real estate world. He's got Martel Turnkey. He's been buying some multifamily stuff. I'm sure if you're following me, you probably follow him. If you don't, you're making a big mistake. But he's on now. So thanks for joining us, bud.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Excited.
Awesome. Yeah, should be good. Friday night. Normally would probably be doing other stuff, but we're in quarantine. So instead we're doing IG lives. So good stuff, man. How you holding up?
Good. It's going well. Things are going better than expected. I think that a lot of people have been reading too much online. So it's been kind of messing with people's philosophies and stuff like that. But things are going pretty well, better than I thought that they would actually, with all the different kinds of things we're doing, which we can get into because everyone has a little bit of a different twist on it. The wholesaling, the turnkeys, the apartments, they're all a little bit different. So
yeah, for sure. So just real quick, just for anybody who's watching, whether on live or guys, we are recording this on Zoom, so it'll be up on YouTube either tonight or tomorrow. 1 to 2 minutes, maybe 3, who you are, what you do, and kind of your portfolio.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so my name's Antoine Martel. I'm 24 years old, live in Los Angeles, been investing for 5 years now, invested in Memphis and Cleveland mostly. I started really just growing a portfolio for my family, took my dad's money that he had saved up, went out of state, bought a single family home, renovated it, rented it out, put a property management company in place, refi. So kind of like the BRRRR strategy at the beginning. And then what I did from there is grew a family portfolio of like 10 single family homes. Once I got to 10 single family homes, people started reaching out to me like, hey, how do I invest in Memphis, Tennessee from California? And I'm like, well, I can sell you these houses that I finished renovating or whatever, and I'll help you get financing. And that's how the turnkey business started.
Yeah.
So started doing the turnkey business. We're doing that up to like 120 homes a year now. So we've really scaled that thing up over the last couple of years. And then with that cash flow, we've started 2 other side things, which one of them is buying apartment buildings. So now we have 71 units in Memphis, buying another 16 next week. And then I also started wholesaling. So I started a wholesaling team, I guess you could call it. I haven't been doing it, but we were buying 10 houses a month. And I was like, all right, how do I go from 10 houses a month to 20 houses a month? I'm like buying everything that hits the MLS. So that's why I kind of taught some kids that I went to school with in college, taught them how to wholesale, and they've been doing a fantastic job finding off-market deals for us to continue, scaling up the turnkey business.
I love that. So obviously focusing around what's been happening in the last couple of weeks. How's it been for you guys on all those different facets? 'Cause I'm sure everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah. So the turnkey business is interesting. So we had probably like 20 houses that were supposed to sell this week. This month in April. And there's just delays for like every little reason that you can think of when you kind of think about the whole like single family home selling process, right? So the lender has been delayed. The appraisers have been delayed. The appraisers don't want to go through the house. The inspectors don't want to go through the house. They don't want to be in contact with anybody. So we sell all of our houses with tenants in place too. So the tenants don't want to go with a leasing agent to walk the property to move in because they don't want to be in contact, right? So it's like all these little things have kind of delayed. Even if it's just a day, it's like, but there's 5-6 different steps that have delayed things. So delays is a big one. Even today, we were supposed to sell 3 houses. Only one of them sold because the other 2 were delayed because I think today was a holiday, but also because the county is behind on like recording all their documentation because I think they're doing stuff virtually because you can't go there physically as well.
Right.
So that's one thing. In terms of the buyers actually buying the properties, we haven't seen that much of a slowdown. There's probably been 10% of our buyers are probably too scared to buy right now or just want to hold on to their cash, which I understand.
That seems pretty low. I figured that would be a higher number.
Yeah, no, so did we. So out of those 20 that we were supposed to sell this month, 2 people reached out to me. Like one of them owned his own business. So he was like, hey, I need my money for my business. And I was like, all right, man, I understand. The other one just like I just like just got stage fright pretty much. Just
Sure.
I can't do this anymore. And I was like, okay, buddy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm very surprised that it was only two people as well. I thought it was going to be much more than that were going to back out of the deal. And so we're pretty lucky for that to be, staying afloat, and like even investors to continue to buy from us. Cause a lot of our clients too, you have to think about it. They're white collar. Most of them still do have their jobs. They probably live in California, a lot, expensive markets.
Mhm.
And so the stock market too, where they have or have not been investing as well, as going down the tubes. So maybe
Yeah.
they did a fire sale or whatever. Now they have 20, 30 grand and
Yeah.
they want to buy something that cash flows and is more stable. So
Although this week I think just was like one of the best weeks in a really long time. So
yeah, I know, it's
you might
crazy.
have more people calling you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've been even dabbling with stock market a little bit too, because like some airline stocks and stuff like that, just because the prices
Mhm.
were so too good to pass up.
No, I hear you. So for the turnkey stuff, because I don't actually know this about you guys, are you guys managing it for it? Do you oversee another management company for them, or do you just kind of say like, "Hey, we renovated it, we put a tenant in place, and now you take it and do what you want with it"?
Yeah, so the process is we go buy the house, renovate it, rent it out, put a property management in place, third party
Mhm.
property manager, and then sell it. And then we help our clients get financing, insurance, and then give them that property management contact as well. So
So when
everything is done. Yeah.
so when the sale goes through, are you guys no longer involved then? Or are you guys still helping like oversee assets and managers and stuff like that?
No longer involved. We help them build their relationship with that third party property manager.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
don't want to be involved on the long term, and then I don't make any revenue from that long term process either. So it's all property
Right.
management. So they take care of all that stuff.
Gotcha. Because I was going to go into next of, from the multifamily side, start talking about collections and tenants and stuff like that. And I wasn't sure if you were involved with the management of the single family stuff as well. So I wanted
Got it.
to
Got it.
clear that up. So, one, do you guys rent out any single family stuff, or is it just the multifamily, like
Yeah, we
personally?
do. So because we have, I think we're holding like 10 to 15 single family homes ourselves, but the property managers and the owners of those property management companies, I mean, we've been talking every week, multiple times a week, to make sure, because before we sell any single family homes, we make sure there's a tenant in place.
Hmm.
So we're still a part of that leasing process from the beginning. And so leasing, to my surprise, was like last month for both property management companies in Memphis and in Cleveland was like one of the biggest months that they've had in
Yeah.
terms of leasing.
Mhm.
And again, like you guys, like we're in a very affordable markets, and then affordable properties in those affordable markets. So again, I think a lot of other areas might be getting crushed, but we're still seeing really good collections and really good move-in rates, which was my surprise, because it's not cheap to move in, right? You have to pay for the company to move all your shit. You have to pay for the security deposit and first month's rent. It's like 2,000, 3,000 bucks to move in when your rent is only 800 bucks a month. So yeah.
No, I hear you. So what has it been like? Obviously, you talked about March, and we saw the same thing too. And our kind of thesis was that a lot of people were scared that this was coming, and they wanted to have a place locked in for 12 months, so that they wouldn't have to worry about if my lease is coming due in April,
Yeah,
what
true.
do I do? Or my lease is coming due in May, what do I do? No idea if that's true or not. Didn't test it out. Of no way to really verify besides doing a survey. But that was kind of our thought process, and have heard it from some other people. Who knows if it's true?
Yeah.
But obviously, new month, 10 days into it. It's April 10th as of this recording. How have you guys done on collections, occupancy, leasing, etc.?
Yep. So all of our, kind of like you, like we said before the show, is kind of, we've been seeing very, very similar to March, January, February, March. We've seen the same similar collections to April.
Mm-hmm.
Even the building that we're buying, I made sure that all those tenants did pay rent. All of them did pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we do only have 71 units, so it could just be a small sample size that's not big enough. But we're still seeing pretty good collections. And I think, like you said, I think so. Normally, our property management companies on the first of the month, they collect like 60% of all
Mm-hmm.
rents.
Okay.
And in April, they collected 50 to 55%. So it was
Mm-hmm.
down. It was down a little bit, but it wasn't too far off. Like we thought it would be half that number, or people would just be too scared to even pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
Or the biggest thing we were scared about was people thought that they didn't have to pay rent, because there
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of media around that was like, oh, don't pay rent, you can't get evicted. Like, no, that's not the case.
Yeah. Are
you
there
know,
are there moratoriums in Memphis and Cleveland or no?
I don't think that there are.
It's just
Um,
the courts are shut down.
the courts are shut down though, so like we have 4 or 5 pending evictions, unrelated to this, just from March.
Mm-hmm.
So before things started taking off, and then they were supposed to be out like April 1st or something like that, and then all that stuff got delayed because the courts have been shut down. So yeah, it there's not a moratorium, but all of those evictions have, because of the courts being shut down, are all delayed, and we have no date as to when those tenants are going to be evicted or when we're going to be able to evict them. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something I would. So John deals more with the debt side of things, but I believe, and I would talk to Ben because I know you guys are closing with the agency loan. I
Yeah.
think agency loans are no evictions for the next 4 months, no matter what.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would find that out. Double check it. I
Oh
believe
dude.
I believe so, but I don't know for sure.
Dude, did I have do you are you guys under contract on anything right now?
Yeah, we're under contract on a loan assumption Freddie deal for. We've been under contract since December, so it's been a while. It's just been, I don't know. You've probably never done a loan assumption. This is the first one I've ever done on the buy side.
Yeah.
It's a brutal process, dude. It takes forever. It's so
Holy
long.
shit.
Great property, and the only reason we're still going to buy it. But yeah, it takes a while. But why are you asking?
So because did you hear about the new Freddie Mac COVID kind of 18 months of mortgage payments put in the escrow account?
Yes. Yeah. So I think for anyone listening, what you're referring to is any Freddie loan under $6 million, you've got to have 18 months of principal and interest. And is it principal and interest and insurance, or just principal and interest?
Principal and interest payments.
And then I think over 6 million, I think it's 12 months where your loan has a 1.25 coverage ratio to like a 1.35 or a 1.4. So basically, like if you've got leverage from 70 to 80%, or even like 65 to 80%, you're going to have 12 months. And then if you're lower leverage, so really probably going to be only institutional guys, not really anybody small, like 60, 50, 45%, then you only need 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's for new debt though. So we didn't get hit with that. Plus I think we're
Ugh.
also in the process. So
Yeah.
luckily though, we qualified for a supplemental on the loan assumption. So we're
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
the deal we're buying, it's like 10.3 million bucks. It was like 6.1 left on the loan, and we got like an extra 1.2 million in proceeds. So
Wow.
that deal just, they were in just the right sub market at the right time, and just appreciation went crazy. So yeah, but that's
Wow.
that's the stuff we're talking about now. It's like, a lot of people want to talk about valuations and stuff like that, and maybe that's a good topic to get into because I haven't really spoken about it yet. Going forward,
Yeah.
right now valuations are slashed. Whatever property you own, your property is worth less because there's so few buyers. So like if you went tomorrow and you went to go sell your property, it's just discounted because there's not as many buyers. If you try to sell your property tomorrow and no one buys it, your property is worthless. Like that's the bottom
Yeah.
line.
Yep.
If for whatever reason magically you flip the light switch and no one wanted to buy your property for as little as $1, your property is worthless. You'd have to give it away. That's just the nature of the beast. So how much do you have to discount your property for someone to take it off your hands or be able to raise capital or to be able to get financing? Who knows? It's so up
Yeah.
in the air. So that's why, for the next few months until we kind of come out of this lockdown, transactions are going to halt dramatically unless you were, midway through.
Yeah.
But when we come out of it, it's little things like that, even if cap rates stay the same or things like that, now you've got to go out and raise, 12 or 18 months worth of principal and interest
Yep.
up front in equity and put it into a reserve account. That's a lot of extra money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. For us, like imagine like we're putting 800 grand down and it's an extra $100,000 in just a random escrow account that I have to literally write a letter and beg to get the money out. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
mean,
So
rough math. So like 6 million, like a 4.5 interest rate. If you do principal and interest, usually works out to around like right around 6%, just because I've done the math enough. So if you, oops, I did divide. So 6 million times 0.06. Oh, God damn it. 1, 2, 3 times 0.06. That's an extra $360,000 you've got to bring to the table. And
no, they think,
you might
they
have,
think we just have that in the bank somewhere chilling.
yeah, and you might have interest only payments too. So it's like, you've still got to come up with that 360, and that's 12 months. 18 months would be, times 1.5. That would be plus another 18,000. So that would put you right at $52,000, $520,000. Like for a $6 million deal, you just increased the cost of your deal up front 10%.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
even
no,
cost of equity, the cost of the deal.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. I just don't even, I don't know how they think deals are going to get done. So what that's going to do is, if I've got to raise so much more equity and it's going to reduce my returns, it's going to jack up cap rates, which sucks.
Yeah. So what we did, because dude, we were hit with this April 1st, bro. And we had to close April 17th to buy this thing. So what I did.
You do have to do it?
Yeah, I have to do it.
Oh shit. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I thought oh fuck.
Dude, I was supposed to close March 30th. One of my investors backed out because of the coronavirus. I had to go re-raise. So out of the 800 grand, 150 grand just disappeared because somebody backed out. I had to go re-raise. So somebody was like, my business is going down and I can't buy this. I can't invest with you in this deal. 150 grand is gone. So I was like, oh shit. All right. I'm screwed. I have to come up with 150 grand and we close in like a week. So I went to the seller and I said, hey, I'll put up more earnest money. I just need to extend it. I spoke with the lender. I said, what's the maximum I can extend it without redoing all the paperwork? They said April 17th. I said, all right, deal. I extended to April 17th.
So wait, I just want to clarify. At this time, you did not have to come up with the extra principal and interest, right? Oh my God, dude.
Exactly. Fuck. Because this was supposed to close March 30, like the last day of March, whatever it was. Yeah. And so this rule wasn't in place. The rule enacted April 1st. Like they just woke up on April 1st and there's every loan that's pending has to do this. So I go re-raise the money and it must have been right around that time. Like April 1st was a Thursday, I think. So April 2nd was the Friday. April 1st was a Wednesday. And then that Thursday or that Friday, I re-raised the money that had been lost the week before. And I was like, all right, good. I'm good. We have 2 weeks to closing and I have all the money. I'm great. Then on the 6th, which was Monday the 6th, the lender emails me, hey, by the way, there's this new rule with Freddie Mac and you have to come up with this extra money. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just asked you guys, like, it's not their fault, but like, I was like, I just asked you guys if, what's the most I can extend it. And now I delay it 2 weeks and I have to come up with an extra 100 grand because of this. And, so then I was like, all right, I'm screwed. Like I've just raised this much money. First of all, raising money right now is very difficult.
So tough.
And so I exhausted every single resource I had, like, like how raising money, it's like, all right, these are the easy ones. And then, now I'm going to text 10,000 people I have on a list to try to raise the money. Right. So I exhausted all the methods and then I sat 3 days later and I was like, all right, I'm screwed. Like nobody replied to my email blast about the deal. And then I was like, okay, I have to call the seller. So I called the seller's agent and I'm like, all right, he has 2 options. One of them is to delay the deal 3 to 6 months until this thing is waived. And hopefully it becomes waived at that point in time. That's option 1. The other option is I wrote like a big long email, like I can't raise money right now. Nobody wants to invest. I have all the rest of the money ready to go. Like we're ready to close. We can close April 17th, but you're going to need to come up with the funds then if you want to close. And he sat and thought about it. He thought about it and he ended up funding the entire COVID-19 program. And he was like, I need to sell it because I'm doing a 1031 exchange. I want to retire, blah, blah, blah. And so we got him to just sign the addendum, and he's funding the entire 18 months of mortgage payments in a escrow account.
Geez, we just got a question asking if it was for commercial loans. So yeah, as far as I know, this stipulation is just for
Yep.
commercial loans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just on Fannie and Freddie. So if you're buying residential stuff, don't sweat it. But
yeah, residential, it's not on there.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have a question though. You guys, I'm assuming you guys are buying some sort of like a value add property with renovations, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm assuming part of that down payment was for CapEx, right?
It was for CapEx. And we do, because there's a couple of different ways that we do it. So like we raise as much money as we possibly can to abide by the lender. And then we come in with cash. And then we also have a bunch of houses selling. So kind of take the cash flow from the business and use that to fund those renovations.
So you were already going to backfill some of the equity to do the renovations.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, because that's like what we changed on our property is we were originally, this deal we're going to raise $5 million. We're doing like $1 million for renovation over 7 years. Like this is a 7-year project. We're renovating every single unit as they turn. Probably going to take 3.5 years to get through every unit, give or take. Now it might even take 4 with the delays and stuff. But what we said was like, there's no point now with the delays and stuff of having, $1.4 million just sitting in the bank.
Exactly.
So we just slashed our budget in half. We're only closing with like 4.2, 4.3, give or take. And then we'll just reinfuse the money in like 6 to 12 months as things need. So it'll actually be better. It's just, we typically don't like to do it because it's technically a capital call. And a lot of investors don't like that. Even if it's pre-planned, you got to like talk people off a cliff when they hear about that. Sometimes they're like, a question that we get a lot of times, like, oh, have you guys ever had a capital call? The answer is no. But now it's, well, no, but technically yes, but we pre-planned it. And they're going to be like, oh, I didn't, I don't want to do that. So we tried to avoid it. So it was never a talking point. But really just makes sense right now. Plus, we had 1 or 2 people back out and it was impossible raising money. I had I was able to raise probably similar to you, like an extra $100,000. I think John raised like a couple extra 100. And, but I get it too, right? Like it's also a little different today than it was 2 weeks ago when nobody knew what the hell was going on. Today it's, slightly clearer of like, okay, kind of see where the light at the end of the tunnel is, just not really sure when we're going to hit it necessarily.
Yeah. I agree. And I'll bring up another point too, is like, we even like changed because of all this. We've kind of changed also the renovation style that we're doing and also the market rent price that we've been doing. So like we bought one building, the rents were $450 a month for a 1-bedroom. I was spending like $20,000, $25,000 a unit and making the rents $850. Right. So like double, but they were super nice. Like granite.
No, you guys did really, really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Granite, stainless steel, tile floor. Like, dude, it's nicer than where I live in Los Angeles. And so we were like $25,000 a unit, right? So it's a lot of, if I'm doing 4 or 5 units a month, it's a lot of cash that's just being depleted. And so we tested one unit and I was like, what if we just take one of these units that was $450 and just clean it up? So spend $2,000, clean it, paint it.
What'd you get?
Fix
like
the appliances.
600, 625?
We got $650.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy shit. Okay, for the amount of money it's going to take to do 1 unit, I can do 10. And so 24 unit building. So I was like, for the price of 2 units, I can do the entire building and just increase the rents, just have those rents for the next 6, 12 months, whatever. And then once this hump is over, then we could retry, going, balls to the wall luxury units, right? And then doing the refinance later. But so that's another thing that's kind of changed with us, is just, we just want to keep on to our cash and just do the bare minimum kind of renovation, but still getting some value out.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Once you start going up and up that like renovation scope for units, where like you just clean it, or you do like a partial where maybe you do like new appliances and flooring and like resurface cabinets, counters, and basic stuff. And then you start going to like, okay, maybe we replace cabinets, we replace appliances, but then you start going into like the premium stuff of like the granite, the really nice flooring, the really nice fixtures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You start getting less and less ROI day one. but what you do get is like future repairs and maintenance is going to go down. Like a granite
Mm-hmm.
counter is always going to last
Mm-hmm.
significantly longer than, you know, a laminate countertop.
Yeah.
Right? Like laminate countertops, you got to resurface or you got to replace after a few years. Granite lasts, you know, probably, you know, over a decade, right?
Yeah.
So unless someone takes a fucking sledgehammer to it. So, you know, tile flooring is going to last longer than, you know,
Yep. The
plank
vinyl
flooring. Like
planks.
the vinyl
Yeah.
plank, you're going to have to replace pieces probably every turn just because people mess it up, which doesn't cost a whole lot. But
Yeah.
if you turn that unit every year for the next 10 years, it adds up.
Yep.
And then not only that, you are getting a slight premium. So it's like, I always wondered whether, just as from afar looking at it, and I have no context of what your business plan is or anything, I always wondered if you guys were overspending on improving units. Like, were you doing it too much? But whenever I ever heard like the rents you were getting, it seemed to make sense. And like I said, I didn't judge, because it's like, I don't know your business plan. I don't know the
Yeah.
context. I don't know what you guys are thinking,
Yeah.
but I knew just from hearing what you guys are doing, I knew there was a significantly cheaper option to like push
Oh.
rents.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you guys were like, hey, we're going to fix it up, but we're probably going to exit in 5 years, what I would tell you to do, my own opinion, is like fix all those units to like that 650 number. They're going to trickle up over 5 years. And then I would renovate, like, if you have 24 units, I would renovate like 2 to 4 units at that premium level, and you'll just probably get a ridiculously low cap rate. Because if you can prove a 200 average rent push by spending, it won't cost you 25 grand anymore.
Which would you
Because
sell it in 5 years or refi it?
no, I would sell it. If you're gonna refi and hold, then just do whatever you think is best for
Yeah.
20 years.
Because see, that's the
But
thing.
if you want to sell, it's your ROI on money quicker is to go cheaper and like that proven value. And that's what everyone does. That's literally the fucking playbook. But if you can actually like show it and do it, you can get people to buy in. But if you like just have 24 units that are partially renovated at a 650 average rent, and then you try to sell it as well, you can do a luxury upgrade. Well, it's like, no, I can't, because you would have done it. And it's, like it's a whole back and forth between buyers and sellers. But that would be
true.
That would be my thought process, or that's what I would do if it was my property. But
so what we've been, and with a couple of these, we do want to hold them long term because they're in like a great spot. That's kind of a hidden gem for the next 5-10 years. That I think there's a lot more inventory to be like renovated, and the units that we do make luxury are renting out like super quick. Like there's a demand for that kind of unit because nobody else was doing it there. So with that, we wanted to kind of renovate all those units, go high end, get the $850 a month from the $500 a month or $450 a month, and then do a refinance. Then with that refinance cash, use that cash to buy another building or to pay out those investors if there is any. A couple of these deals we own by ourselves, right? So we don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to hold it forever until the values are ridiculous and they are at a 5 cap, and then I can just get rid of them because of the location.
And that's the thing. If you're going to hold it for and the plan is to hold it for 20 years, I'd much rather have something with tile floors, tile surrounds, granite countertops, because that's going to have significantly less deferred maintenance in 10 years than if I did, plank flooring or vinyl rollout flooring and, laminate countertops. And, I just resurfaced the tubs and I just resurfaced the tub surrounds, like the tile and stuff like that. If you go in and day one, you do it properly, that's going to last you a really long time. And in, 15 years, it's going to be a very low headache property. So that's where I was saying, like, I didn't know what your plan is. And, I think too many people are like, oh, like looking from, 30,000 foot view, or like looking from afar and like trying to tell people what they should or shouldn't do. You have no idea what their plans are and what they're doing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, I think, it all depends what you're trying to do. But I mean, adjusting on the fly, I think in the short term, it's definitely a good move, because also too, when you have that, if you have two different types of units, right? You have like the 650 unit and you have the 850 unit. If you have someone come in and they look at the 850 and they don't qualify, you can be like, hey, just, we own a property around the corner, rents for 650, not as nice, but we're the same owner, same people, you still get us as the ownership. That has helped us a lot. Even within the same property, where it's like, we'll have different levels.
Yeah.
some people just don't quite meet, or they're trying to overextend themselves, we can, either push them up if they qualify or push them down into
Yeah.
another bucket.
Interesting.
So
Yeah,
that,
it's a
I
good
think
thing
that'll
too.
help you with leasing, especially in a time where it's like, if leasing is not that solid in the next month or two, it just gives you some better diversity. Maybe capture
Yeah.
that one or two extra people, which
Yeah.
is
True.
going to be big.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, and so we're also throughout this whole entire thing, we're changing property management companies too, which is a
okay.
big thing.
Hmm.
I don't think I told you that, but
No.
yeah, it's just we're moving to a much larger property management company who has much more of a team.
Hmm.
Before we were just using really like a mom and pop property management company. Now we're changing to legit business with employees and 25 people on the ground, and it was just getting too like just wasn't enough reporting on our side. We just didn't know a lot about what was going on. And so
Hmm.
us, like, now we have investors and people that are asking us these questions, and I'm like, I have nothing to show for it. So it's definitely another big change that we're going through now, which um, is going to be a big thing that hopefully will help us propel us forward a lot more,
Hmm.
and also have more insight as to what the hell is going on the ground, which we don't have now.
No, for sure. I think that's something big for me, has always been like, and it's been a little bit of a battle sometimes to make managers understand, is that like, it's not my money. So
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's one thing, like if it's my money to like accept or not accept what's going on, but when I've got to report to someone else, I've got to have the right information to
Hmm.
justify why we're doing what we're doing. It's not like I can just be like, I'm doing it because I want to.
Yeah.
That does not fly. Or maybe it does, and you've got really great investors that just trust you, but 99% of the time that doesn't work. So
Yeah,
you've got to have good information and be able to, communicate it in a concise way, a consistent way, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely important, and it's not always the easiest thing to get. We struggle with it, and sometimes it's wrong or errors and stuff like that. But that's working with anybody, so it is what
exactly.
it is. But yeah, that's definitely important as you scale up, you have more units, and you have more data. You got to be able to have the information you need.
Exactly.
Can you talk a little bit too, because a lot of different people from a lot of different areas, I want to understand too, like different parts of the country,
Yeah.
what it's been like in LA for you personally, for your family,
Yeah.
what the area has been doing, how it's been. Do you think they've been doing a good job and stuff like that?
Yeah. So in LA, I think they've been doing a good job. I think that social distancing, I think everybody's kind of taken it very seriously to where, and even the whole masks thing, like me and my buddy went out a couple days ago looking to buy masks as we
Hmm.
didn't have any. I think this was last weekend, so April 4th, April 5th, and we went out to look for masks. Like we went to CVS, we walk in and look, hey, can we get you guys have any masks? No, we don't. Where can we get one? Online is the only place. Like everything's sold out. We were walking out of the store, and then some lady looks at us like shaking her head with a gloves and mask on. She's like, "No mask and no gloves." And I'm like, "Lady, we just tried to buy them. They don't have any." Like, they're like, and that's how people are here. So I mean, it's a good thing. I think that
Hmm.
everybody should be doing it. I think they're going to mandate it this weekend, um, to make it where you'll get fined if you're not wearing a mask.
I think I heard
Um,
they just did. I think the governor just came out and said like all of
was that
California now
was
has
that
to wear a
today?
mask. It might have been. I feel like I heard it. I
It
listened
was.
to on like Spotify has like this daily drive, and it's like news and music, and I feel like I heard it that it might
Yeah,
have been
yeah, yeah.
California.
Yeah, a lot of people have been posting that it was going to happen today. I turned off the news app because it was depressing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think people are taking it seriously. They've shut down literally all the beaches, all
Hmm.
like a lot of people like work out along like the boardwalk, so like the trail that goes along the beach and like all of that stuff. All so like all the public trails, all the public like mountains where people would run or bike or hike have all been closed. So they're doing a pretty good job. I think here too, they just said that we can't leave the house until May 15th now too. It was May 1st. Now they
Hmm.
extended it to May 15th to where it's the stay at home kind of order. So yeah.
Gotcha. I hear you. That's crazy. Does it feel like when you have been out, does it felt like a ghost town?
Yeah, it has been at certain times of the day. Like at 5 p.m., like trying to get back to my house is a pain in the ass no matter what direction you go. But the last couple of days, it's like, what time is it? it's like, it feels like it's 1 p.m., not 5 p.m. So
Dude,
that's the crazy part.
I woke up this morning, and I woke up late, admittedly, and I was just laying in bed, and it was like, I want to say it was like 9:30, and I got an alert, and it was like, you have a podcast. I was like, holy shit, it's Friday. I was like, I thought today was Wednesday. I was like, holy shit. I was like, dude, I don't even know what fucking day it is anymore. It's crazy.
God damn.
And it's like, sometimes it's tough enough as it is, but when you're literally in the same place, just, walking 10 feet or whatever it is,
I know.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's just really tough to keep track of. I know it's been interesting, just to give you context, anybody that's watching, over in New York. So I normally live in Brooklyn. I'm out east now at my mom's place at like an hour and a half on Long Island. And I've heard Brooklyn is just terrible. Like, it's a literal ghost town. It's like anytime you try to like order food, it takes like 2-3 hours to get it.
Oh my God.
Like, it's not good. Just like everything shut down basically, except like supermarkets and stuff. But out here, it's been pretty normal. I mean, I haven't really tried ordering food, so I don't know, but supermarkets aren't crazy. Like, I've heard some people are like, you have to line up outside, or it's like, toilet paper aisles are closed, and like, you can only get like, they're only like letting people in to get like one thing or something.
Oh, wow.
It's really felt normal, besides people wearing masks, and like, if you get too close to them on accident, they like scurry out of the way very quickly. You wouldn't even know that something was going on. So it's, I'm pretty happy I was able to get out of the city and
get
out here. Yeah, I was pretty lucky. So cool, man. Awesome. I know, obviously this is on live. Anybody on live, we are recording on Zoom. It'll be up on YouTube probably tonight because I got nothing better to do.
You're not going out?
No. Yeah, virtual happy hour. Obviously, anybody that's watching right now, if they don't already follow you, they can click the little bubble at the top and follow you on Instagram. But where else can people, learn more about you? Plug your IG for anybody watching on YouTube as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's probably the best place to figure out everything about me.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a Linktree link in there that directs to everything. So my Instagram's at Martel Antoine. Just check me out there. There's a lot of ways that I can help you if you're trying to get started in the residential space. And then more for the commercial space, hit up Chris. He's way better at that stuff than me. But yeah,
definitely not.
But yeah, feel free to reach out. I try to get through my DMs and try to reply, as does Chris. So feel free to reach out.
Cool, man. Awesome. I appreciate you doing this. You got any final thoughts, words of wisdom, advice, thoughts through this period?
I would just say to try to stay positive. I think there's a lot of people that are reading a lot of negative stuff or watching these negative documentaries. And yeah, we're going through this pandemic right now, and it is unprecedented. And I understand that people are dying, but we can still try to stay positive throughout this whole thing and use this time at home to, sure, you can watch Netflix and try to kill time and stuff like that. I've been doing the same thing. But I would also recommend learning and reaching out to people and like figure out what you want to do when you do get out, because now you do have that time.
Yep.
And just put in the work and don't just be, I'm not going to do anything because there's this pandemic going on. Still stay informed, but also use your other time to go and learn something new and something that you've always wanted to do, which I'm happy to see that a lot of people have actually been doing that. Like, I'm starting to do this arts and crafts, which I haven't done in 15 years now. And I finally have the time to do it. It's like, those are great things that I think people should get back into and utilize this time to do so.
100%. Love it, man. Thanks so much for doing this. I'll be sure to shoot it to you when it goes live. Have a great night, everybody, for watching. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night and weekend.